What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everybody is doing well. I know this is a different kind of video than the norm that is on this channel. Usually we just do gameplay and let's plays and stuff like that on here, but I figured I wanted to throw my hat in the discussion of the GTA 6 debacle, if you would call it that, and whether or not I still think GTA 6 is actually still worth it if there's no disc involved. I know a lot of people are going online being crazy and being like, no physical copy, no sale, which I think is a little bit weird. I don't think that should be what everybody gets from it, but I do understand. I am a huge collector myself. I have every single GTA game ever made. That is from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2, 3, 4, and so on. I even have the China Wars one for the DS and the PSP. I'm a huge avid collector. I think physical media is really great. It can actually, create friendships and bonds. I think video games does a lot of great things for the world and for people. There's a lot of people on like Reddit talking about how it's sad that GTA 6 will not have a physical copy because a lot of people were kind of excited to go to the midnight premiere at GameStop. People were talking about how they had met some of their long-term friends during that. I remember going through the GTA 5 when the PlayStation 3 came out, and that game was announced for it. And I still have quite a few people that I talked to from that premiere, to this day. So I can understand why a lot of people are kind of heartbroken by it, a little saddened by it. But I do think that the problem at hand isn't really whether or not it's physical or not. I do believe that the problem is that Rockstar's communication about it was less than desirable. Because throughout all these delays, they kept talking about physical and digital. So people just assumed that it was going to be a physical copy. Because that's what they kept saying. And then yesterday, they finally put out that, oh yeah, by the way, the physical copy isn't technically physical, it's just a piece of paper. Which is where I think a lot of people have problems with that, because a lot of people do really like collecting physical media. Now, I understand that the industry norm is moving past that and it is going digital, kind of like the whole movie scene. Growing up as a kid, everybody thought that the whole 3D and Blu-ray was going to be the next big things, and now they were making TVs that had like the whole 3D pop art. I remember like movies like the Valentine one with the miner where he's throwing the axe and it comes at you in 3D, and the Saw stuff that came out in 3D and stuff like that. Like, that was going to be something big for the industry, and then it just went nowhere. Everything went digital, and that became the industry norm, which is fine. Like, I don't want to harp on anybody that is okay with buying digital. Like, that's perfectly okay. I know PC players are pretty pissed because they're not even going to get it for a whole year. Which is kind of crazy, but apparently through Rockstar's great communication skills, they said that the reason that the console editions are coming out first is because they spend the most money on like shark bucks or cards or whatever the hell that online currency is. So they wanted to push that out. Plus, they were really worried about apparently piracy and other stuff like that through the PC. So that's another reason why they went ahead and made it console only for the first year. I am hoping that when the PC version does come out, that they do make a physical copy. I think the crazy thing that did happen, which I was very thankful for, is if everybody remembers Alan Wake 2, Remedy actually sat there and said that there was no immediate vision for a physical media of Alan Wake 2. And then I guess between the petitions and them, not having a lot of people buy the physical media, they decided to go ahead and put out one. And a lot of people bought it because, collecting is a lot of people's hobby. There are people that have every single PlayStation 1 game ever made, which is insane. I generally only collect games that I like personally. I don't collect every single game, but if you have, that is insane. That is pretty awesome too, because I don't know where the fuck you're putting all these games. You must have like a freaking another house to put on these games in, because I've seen pictures of people from Reddit that have been talking about this whole GTA thing, and have like pictures of like the Sega Genesis, the freaking NES, the Super NES collections. I mean, freaking the PSPs, PlayStation Vitas, Nintendo DS, the 3DS, the Switch 2, the Wii, the Wii U. I mean, it was just on and on about how they've been collecting games for so long, and that's kind of the sad thing. And then that's another reason that I kind of got into this topic is that about a year or two ago, I was not really big on emulation. I tried to not stay away from it because I thought it was bad. But like, if I felt like if there was a physical copy of something, you could still obtain it, right? But now, if you guys know anything about GameCube games, freaking, what's that game? God Hand from Capcom, and freaking the Fire Emblem game, just for a acceptable version of the game, is about $125. And that's acceptable. Anybody that buys stuff on eBay knows acceptable means that that game probably has someone's kids grabbed a fork and played DJ on that game, and there's probably gouges, scuff marks, hell, probably the freaking pamphlet of the game itself is just royally fucked up. And it's become this thing now where I was like, not really against emulation, but at the same time I was very curious about it. And in the last year or two, it is something that I have really seen like people's argument for, because it's like, if it's only going to be digital, right? I can see now why a lot of people on Reddit have just sat there and said, like, hey, if you're not going to give it to me physically and I can get it and you're not going to resell it, then, it's fair game. You know what I'm saying? And I see why now that's sort of the idea, because like it's getting to a point now where it's like, if you're not going to give it physically for me, and then you're going to make me jump through fucking hoops to get this damn game, I can see now why a lot of people have pushed for emulation and do emulation. Like I said, in the last year or two, it's something that I've been dabbling in here and there, because it's just like, certain games have just become freaking insane. And the biggest issue that a lot of people have is like with like Nintendo. Like, if you can still download your games and stuff, but like if you wanted to sit there and buy a game, you better have done it at that point in time, because like the Nintendo DS and 3DS stores went down. You wouldn't be able to get any of those games. And let's just sit there and say, like, for instance, that there's an HD remaster that never received a physical copy, and now you forgot about buying it, so now you can't get your hands on it, and the only way to get your hands on it is through emulation. And so I think that this is going to be a thing where a lot of companies are going to push for this whole digital thing, and it's not going to go the way that they think it's going to go, because there's a lot of people that are willing to go the extra mile to get the emulation version of said game, because it's either too hard to get, it's not made anymore, or in the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance aspect, is the only way you can save your freaking game is through a battery. And once that battery dies, you cannot save anymore, unless you have a friend or you know how to put a new battery in and solder and all that other stuff. So it becomes a pain. Whereas if you emulate it, there's already save states in that emulation. A very good one is the Game Boy Color emulator that's on the Samsung Galaxy that I've been using to play the old retro Pokemon games and stuff like that. Because if you try to buy them online, it's either you don't know if it's an authentic copy, or they've done something to the game where it doesn't work fully because they've emulated it, put it on a Game Boy hard drive, sold it online, and now it's either messed up or there's glitches or what have you. So it's just better to do it on your own so that that it works. And I think that GTA 6 is going to be a great game. I'm not trying to sit there and tell people like, hey, you shouldn't buy GTA 6. We should stand up and protest and not buy it. I think that that's just dumb. You can and should vote with your wallet, but if you're a digital person, like if you buy on Steam or whatever like that, and you're perfectly okay with it, then go for it. This video was simply made for those that are like me, collectors. Like I said, I have every single GTA game, and I do understand that the industry norm is going towards digital. So, I'm not sitting there saying that, I'm against it or whatever like that. It's just how things go, especially with the movie industry and stuff like that. And I just hope that, you know, we as a community of gamers, if we could have an option to have physical media, because I think that like for anybody who's a collector, right? If let's just sit there and say Alan Wake 3, right? Remedy is like, hey guys, we're not going to do physically at all, but if you wanted to pay the extra cost, say $100 to get an actual physical copy of this game, even though it's more and it's just the standard edition, if you want, say, the deluxe edition, you'd have to pay, $20 more or whatever. I think a lot of people would be okay with that because you're giving them the option to actually get that physical copy. And I'm like kind of teeter-tottering on whether or not I want to wait. Is it worth it to wait? Is there a hope that maybe it is like Alan Wake 2 and we do get a physical copy? Or is it just going to be like, hey, it's just going to be digital. We don't want you reselling the game to GameStop and then GameStop making money off of the game. We want people to buy it and all that other stuff. Because the biggest problem that I had was when the CEO was just like, yeah, the reason that we're doing it digitally is so that it can't be resold. You can't let your friend borrow it. If they want to play it, they have to buy it. And I thought that was just a little bit on the weird side, because it's just like, if I purchase the game and my buddy wants to borrow it, I do believe that I have that right as a person who has purchased that said game to allow them to sit there and play it, whether it be physical or digital. I think that, if we're going to go this route where, this is so that you can't let your buddies borrow it, I think that that's also kind of crazy, because I've allowed a lot of friends who were not originally in the Final Fantasy fandom. They were like, hey, I saw about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm not really sure about it. I wasn't really a Final Fantasy fan or a Kingdom Hearts fan growing up. Do you have it by chance? And I was like, yeah. And so by giving to them, they played about 2 or 3 hours, realized that they really enjoyed it. They liked the story, they liked the music, they liked the atmosphere. And then they decided to sit there and buy a copy of themselves so that they can take their time, indulge in the world and the characters and stuff like that. And I think that that's an aspect of gaming as well. It's like, I don't think that I would have been a GTA fan ever if my friend did not allow me to borrow Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I think that that was the gateway for me to really enjoy this series, become a fan. GTA 4 is my favorite GTA game of all time, because I think Nico is just an all-around great character. A lot of what he goes through for his family is relatable for a lot of people, because what wouldn't you do for a family member, even if it's just your cousin? So I think that is the reason why like characters like CJ, Nico, and stuff like that were so relatable for a lot of people. Because there are a lot of immigrants that come to this country. So on that aspect, Nico resonates with a lot of them. CJ would resonate with a lot of people who might have grown up in the projects or Section 8 housing, or not the greatest areas in the world, and may have had to have, you know, stuff where they've done, you know, not so safe things, like, you know, sell a little bit of weed or whatever, you know. So these characters that they create are very relatable to a lot of different aspects. Like my grandfather related heavily to Vice City because of the whole shirts, the atmosphere, how everybody dressed and act and everything like that. So these characters that they create is why we as fans love this series so much, because they are able to reflect to a certain degree of how we feel, or what, you know, maybe a friend or somebody has gone through. And I think that that's why a lot of people are so mad about this, because if you love a franchise or you love something enough, you should be able to collect it, cherish it, and, you know, be able to give it off to your, you know, your kids or your loved ones or friends to share your you know, your hobby or your love for whatever franchise that you have. Because like I said, if it wasn't for my friend letting me borrow Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I would have never been a GTA fan. I would have never, I probably wouldn't even know what GTA was, you know. Just like Onimusha, you know, that's another franchise that I love, that I have all four of the games, and the remake or remastered of the first one, which I hope to get the second one if it ever does become physical. I haven't checked recently, but originally it was just digital only. But I think that is GTA 6 really worth it? I'm not really sure. Like, if you're in the hopes of it becoming physical in a year, then I think that, yeah, if you're a collector, I would wait. I'm going to wait. I originally announced that I was going to play the playthrough when it first came out, but now that they've announced that it's actually not a physical copy, I am probably going to wait a year to see if it becomes physical. If not, then I'll just buy it digitally and enjoy the story in that regard. But it is going to suck, because I'm a collector. I think the GTA series is a fantastic series. I think that that's why a lot of fans are really pissed off about not being able to collect it, not being able to go to GameStop to resonate with other gamers and talk about their favorite characters or their favorite scenes, or if they can memorize Big Smoke's freaking Cluckin' Bell order, which is insane how that man ate all that food. Like, I don't know how that man was not in a coma. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of damn food. Like, I eat like maybe those two small cheeseburgers from McDonald's with a small fry and a sweet tea, and I'm good. And that man ordered like 7 meals for himself and just ate them all, and was just like, hey, I'm actually still kind of hungry. I'm gonna eat your food too. Like, it's kind of crazy, and that's something I think that's so great about the fandom. Like, as you're watching this video right now, you're watching Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. I have it on my PlayStation 2 that still works to this day. My original one, I bought it when it was 12, and this PlayStation 2 and game when it first came out, is still rocking, and I think that that's why a lot of people are very, not really annoyed, so to say, but like, I think that they're, just hurt by the idea of not being able to collect physical media. And for me personally, I do think that it is not worth it to collect or to get right now, in the hopes that there is a chance that it could become physical. So I'm going to personally wait. Like I said, I did announce that I was going to play it day one. But since it's not going to be physical, which is perfectly fine, if people buy it digitally, that's perfectly fine. I'm not sitting there calling anybody dumb or anything like that. Like, if you're perfectly okay with digital games, then that's perfectly cool. I'm going to wait in the hopes that I can get a physical copy. Because I will sit there and tell anybody, I did buy The Witcher 3 um, for the console, and then I bought it for Steam because I thought it was such a good game. Why not have it on the Steam Deck so that you can have it on the go and let other people play it? Maybe, you have some friends that haven't played that, but this was just a thing that I wanted to talk about, and um, something that I was passionate about with collecting and the different games and genres and stuff like that. So hopefully, it's not too much of a run on different topics. I am very disappointed that it isn't going to be physical. I believe with all of the delays, they could have been a little bit more transparent. I do think that this will eventually become the norm where we're not even having these discussions and hopes that it becomes physical. I think that eventually in the next 5 years, it will be completely digital, which would really suck, you know, because I do enjoy collecting games that I am a fan of and love. And I will wait a year for the PC to come out. Hopefully, then they will come out with a physical copy, kind of like the Alan Wake 2, like I said previously. But you never know. I guess the main answer for this topic is it worth it for you? Do you not mind getting it physically? Do you mind that it may never be physical? Is that okay with you? I guess it just depends on, if you're okay with double dipping, I suppose, if it does become physical. But that's just my thoughts. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the video. I know it's different from what we usually do on this channel, but I figured that it was a cool topic to talk about, along with my love for the franchise and the series and different franchises that I've come to play and love and enjoy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for all the love and support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.